A lot of formulations use water at a high concentration, and that's why you often see it as the first ingredient listed. But these three seem to be really, shall we say, too watery for their price tags. Today we'll look at them closely and help you decide if you really need them in your skincare routine. Let's start with micellar water. Micellar water is essentially a cleanser. It contains purified water, suspended mild surfactant molecules that arrange themselves in spherical structure called micelles for cleansing. And it's common to find hydrating ingredients such as glycerin. On the inner layer, micelles have lipophilic or oil-loving tail that dissolves dirt, oil, and makeup. On the outer layer of the spheres, they have hydrophilic or water-loving head that allows the micelles to dissolve water-loving impurities so they can easily be wiped away by the cotton you would use. A little bit background about the nature of surfactants will go a long way here. I promise it will just be an overview and hopefully it won't make you fall asleep. There are 4 types of surfactants based on their interfaces and charges: anionic, cationic, non-ionic, and amphoteric. When you think of surfactants, I want you to think of diplomacy. There's one way of solving problems, which is war. Every time you're rubbing your face to remove makeup and need mechanical force, I want you to think that's declaring war. I say that because there's a more effective way to remove your makeup that needs minimal mechanical force: surfactants. You see, these chemical ingredients know diplomacy unlike no other. They are known as surfactants because they reduce the surface tension of wherever they are applied due to their double affinity that allows them to attract all kinds of dirt. Their very molecular composition, hydrophilic and lipophilic ends, gives them the ability to reduce the surface tension of oil and water. Think of diplomacy and empathy when you think of the way they work. They dissolve oil via their oil-loving end, and their water-loving end helps them dissolve polar compounds, thereby creating the cleanness we desire without much force. This is the reason you see them even in formulations that aren't necessarily made for cleansing as emulsifiers. They are smooth, they empathize, and always find the common denominator. You know what I'm talking about here. They are so effective, they leave nothing behind when applied on a surface. Shows you love wins over war, honestly. Anionic surfactants have negative charge on their head tail, are good in terms of foaming, and you often find them in facial washes as well as body washes. Cationic, on the other hand, have positive charge on the head tail and very bad at foaming, but do heavy-duty cleansing. Think household detergents. Non-ionic don't foam and are the surfactants that are commonly used in micellar water. These surfactants do not have an ionic charge and they're water-loving heads. They are often used as secondary surfactant because they are compatible with other groups of surfactants. Next to anionic surfactants, non-ionic surfactants are the most commonly used group of surfactants. The useful thing about micelles is that they can help suspend oil and water. When a small amount of oily material is put into an aqueous solution of surfactants, it will migrate into the center portion of the micelle. So when you put a surfactant solution on a surface like your skin, the oil that's on the skin will be drawn away from the surface and into the micelles. When the surfactant solution is rinsed or wiped away, the surface is clean. But why complicate things when you can just use good old facial wash and get it over with, right? Well, as most things trendy, France takes the credit for micellar water. Due to the hard tap water in France, which is filled with minerals that damage the skin, the French didn't want to play the victim, so they came up with micellar water. Makes sense, right? Cleanse and no rinse off required. Sounds like it solves the problem they had. That's why you should ask yourself if you have the same problem the Parisians had before swearing by a product you might not need anyway. Although they don't necessarily remove heavy waterproof makeup, They are perfect for purifying and refreshing skin when on the go, after a gym, and stuff like that. If you're on the go, jet setting, and don't want makeup to clog your pores and need to cleanse, I understand the occasional use of micellar water. But if you live in a place where the water is considered soft, I honestly don't think you need it. Also, it's good to remember that makeup removal doesn't equal clean skin. Micellar water can be a bad idea if you're prone to breakouts as well. This is because the ingredients used in micellar water leave a surface residue on the skin, which can act like a film, blocking pores and disrupting oil production. If you're using them as your cleansing step to rinse or followed by a facial wash, sure, knock yourself out. You can use them to wipe off any residual makeup after cleansing to make sure any impurity from makeup are cleaned. But don't go without rinsing whenever possible. This one might be the one familiar to most people. Back in the time when people actually used soap bars to wash their faces, toners secured a real position in the skincare industry. You see, bar soaps are alkaline in nature due to the saponification of tallow or vegetable oils. It means their pH is way too high for your skin, causing it to break out and be flaky. And that squeak after washing your face with a bar soap is a cry from your skin that it's stripped of its lipids. Our skin is acidic and stays within pH levels between 4.5 and 5.5 under normal circumstances. So toners came in handy after cleansing to rebalance the skin's pH. But nowadays, I don't think anyone really uses bar soaps for their faces, hence putting toners in a position of irrelevance. To be fair, toners have come a long way. They used to contain high concentration of alcohols, were too astringent and dry. Acne-prone people used toners left and right, thinking they could control the oil production, but they were simply drying. When you strip the skin off the normal lipids that it produces, it leads to more production, overcompensating, making it counterproductive in the end. Most of the toners you'll find nowadays, however, are alcohol-free and are formulated to address almost every skin concern besides treating acne and oily skin. You find them containing alpha-hydroxy acids, BHAs such as salicylic acid, antioxidants, anti-aging, and just about anything you can imagine. If you ask me, the occasions you would need toners are if you cleanse just at night like I do, but want to dampen your face in the morning to prep for your morning routine. Dry skin is like dry sponge, which won't late hydration. Once you moist the sponge, it allows more hydration. Because toner delivers the skin a nice immediate hit of hydration, it makes it ready to actually take the serum or moisturizer you would put next. You can use toners to refresh and use them as your primer for your skincare. The other occasion is as a second or third step of cleansing to get rid of any residual impurities to make sure there is no more dirt left behind from your, say, facial wash. The third occasion, I would say, I highly doubt it, but if you, for whatever reason, still use bar soaps that would raise your pH so high to alkalinity, toner will help you bring it down to the ideal pH. If you feel toner is a good step to incorporate, put a few drops of your toner on a cotton ball and sweep it across your face and neck. If you choose to use your hand instead, that should do it as well if you're using it for moisturization. Allow to dry and follow with serum or moisturizer. Make sure you pick a toner without alcohol in it because that will dry and irritate your skin. While we are on this subject, witch hazel-based toners are more astringent than toners. You really want to stay away from them. We have K-Beauty and J-Beauty to thank for this one, and it is my favorite. Essences are kind of hard to define because each brand seems to have a different meaning for what an essence really is. If you look at ingredient lists only, you can mistake them for a toner, facial mist, or even a serum. Skin needs to be damp for skincare products to be absorbed. The sponge analogy we mentioned earlier. This is what an essence does. It hydrates and conditions the skin to prepare it for the serums oils, and moisturizers to follow. This lightweight, almost watery liquid hydrates and primes skin for better absorption of skincare products that follow. It adds a base layer of moisture and nourishment to keep skin healthy, supple, and radiant. In terms of texture, it's more emollient than a toner, but not as ultra-concentrated as a serum. Packed with nutrients, antioxidants, and other active ingredients, Annunziato's formula has a low molecular weight, which enables it to deliver high doses on a deep level. Its specific function varies by brand, ranging from brightening to hydrating to anti-aging. Not only that, but essences balance and nourish the skin after cleansing and toning. That's why I don't bother with toners really. Essences are pricier than toners, but well worth it. Use your essence morning and night before your serum. Pour a couple of drops into the palm of your hand. Don't use a cotton pad. It will just be a waste of a product and your hands are much more effective. And gently press into your face, neck, and chest area. To wrap up, micellar water is a good cleansing option occasionally. But the regular use might lead to surfactants affecting the skin barrier in the long run. According to literatures, the mechanism of action by which surfactants affect skin barrier function is thought to be a result of two primary processes: disruption of the keratinocytes and removal of intercellular lipids from the stratum corneum, neither of which we wish for our skin. If you indeed live in a place where hard water is an issue, there are ways to soften the water, which is probably what you want to do. I have nothing against toners unless they contain alcohol, but I think essences give you much more hydration than toners, so I would recommend essences over toners. That's it for today. Please subscribe, like, and share this video if you found it relevant.